Hello, everybody, and welcome to my review of One Piece 1078, titled Escape Limit. Now, I just want to make it very clear that the traitor has been revealed, and I will be very excited to share with you today just who it is, but not until we get to the end of the chapter. All right. As you may see behind me, this is a little bit of a different setup. This is my original setup that I was gonna have for most of my live streams. As you can see, I got like anime posters, pictures, figures, and DVDs and stuff. So everything you see behind me, I'm kind of in the process of redoing my room this week. So everything you see behind me by Legends, that is all going to be behind the bed that you usually see me sitting on. Um, but yeah, so definitely tune in for that. All right, enough of that fiddle faddle, as Dr. Vegapunk would say, because he's an old man. On to the chapter. All right, so title card: One Piece, Chapter 1078, Escape Limit. All right, cover page. We have the German 66 and Caesar. So Judge and Caesar have come to an agreement now after they realized that it was all Vegapunk's fault. They come together, and a organization called Neo-Mads is formed. So we now have Neo-Mads, or a new version of Mads. In the notes, Oda says, I thought I didn't know anything about Chikawa, but it turns out I've been using Nagano-san stamps online for ages. I publicly admit defeat. Oda, you do not have to admit defeat about anything. You are currently the best, like, murder mystery writer of our generation. So yeah, you deserve all the credit that you can get. Anyways, so we start off in the lab interior in Egghead, and Sentomaru is still there, kind of seeming a bit beat up, and discovers that Kizaru is in fact coming. But nobody really knows who's on the other end of the line. So then we head over to, oh, yes, yeah, so then in the next panel, we discover that Stussy is talking to Sentomaru, and Stussy and Jinbei are in the second floor building B. So they're immediately in the fourth panel of the chapter. There goes my Stussy is the traitor theory right out the window. So Stussy and Jinbei have been together, and they've been talking to Sentomaru. So Stussy's giving Sentomaru information, saying CD0 was meant to wait for his arrival after eliminating the doctor. And they consider this incident to be far more severe than Ohara. And that's simply because the doctor not only continued the scholar's research, but brought it further. And also, they knew that Egghead had combative and defensive capabilities. So Sentomaru said, When you put it like that, it's no surprise they're coming loaded for bear. I wonder if she's talking about S Bear there. In what can only be described as some of Oda's best small artwork, we see Jinbei and Stussy running back into the label stratum and says, "Call me if there's any developments. All the other transponders on the label stratum are down." So we are at the Fabrio stratum, where Centaur is now telling all of the inhabitants of the island, "You got to get out of here, or you're gonna get blown. Like, not even to Kingdom Come, like to Kingdom Come's Kingdom Come." So everybody starts panicking and trying to head for any ship that they can find off this doomed island. So we head to the third floor of the lab, building C, where Usopp and Lilith have just been turned to stone by S Snake. Frankie is still trying to fight back. But S Snake turns her attention over to Pythagoras, who says, "Who ordered you to do this?" And in response, S Snake crushes Pythagoras, completely exploding him, and has one of the coolest explosion walkaway panels that I've ever seen. Super impressive here. But yeah, so as far as we know, York has been turned to stone. Lilith has been turned to stone. Pythagoras has now been fully killed. Yeah. So that's and Stella. That's right. Stella's been killed. Or no, Shaka. Shaka's been killed as well. So we currently have 4 Vegapunks that are, in essence, dead. So then we head over to the second floor, building A, where we have Atlas, Chopper, and Robin, and they've just been informed that the Seraphim are running amok. And Chopper pretty much calls out Sanji, and he's just like, "If Nami screams, like, Sanji gonna be there immediately." And so Robin says, "Since they're all fighting, what if something happens to Vegapunk's main body while they're distracted?" So I'm guessing that. So Atlas says that there's a room that's sealed off, and she didn't really pay attention to it because it didn't seem important. But it looks like Atlas, Chopper, and Robin are going to be the first 3 to the crime scene when it is discovered that Shaka has been killed. Which is good to know. So we head over to the third floor of building A. By the way, the tops of every building have been blown off at this point. So Nami's holding Edison while Brook is in his soul form and says he's gonna go scout for Vegapunk, and then we get one of the most hype panels. Like it's funny because the Traitor was revealed this week, and yet people can't get over this panel right here, where Sanji straight up with his what is it, Germa abilities, which he's now calling the undying power of love. He completely, like Saitama, tanks a full-on punch from S Shark. So this Seraphim, who's Lunarian, has a devil fruit, all of this, straight on punches him in the face, and Sanji literally laughs it off like it didn't even happen. And not a scratch on him either. Uh, so yeah, Sanji kind of like Saitama levels now, and I think we need to start calling him One Kick Man. Um, I think that'd be pretty good. So then we head over to the fourth floor building A, where Luffy, Kaku, Lucci, and Zoro are still fighting S Bear and S Hawk. They can't get the fires on their backs to go out, and suddenly S Hawk has disappeared. And Lucci says odds are he's reprioritized the order of the targets. He could be focusing on thinning the herd, saving the toughest for last. And Lucci says eliminating your weaker friends would rattle your stronger fighters and handicap them. So what's scary is like Lucci is still a tactician. Like Lucci's still like, well, if I was gonna kill you, this is how I'd do it. So Zoro decides to go chase him down, and then we get one of the funniest lines right here. Luffy looks at Kaku and says, "Go and help him, Usopp, before he gets lost." So apparently now anyone who has a long nose to Luffy is now Usopp. So yeah, Luffy just called Kaku Usopp, and I think that is absolutely hilarious. So Kaku goes after him, and while saying, "Wait, who are you calling Usopp?" So Luffy unleashes Hawk Gatling on S Bear, and Lucci's just like, "That's not gonna work. No matter how many times you hit it, it's not gonna work." And then the narrator steps in, which things are getting serious when the narrator steps in. Only one day remains before the infamous Egghead incident. However, the wheels of this tale were set into motion 3 months ago. So we now see Jewelry Bonnie sitting before Bartholomew Kuma's memories and absolutely sobbing. So we flash back to 3 months prior in the Holy Land of Marijois, and the traitor is pretty much talking to the Gorosei and reporting everything that Vegapunk is doing. And pretty much we see the whole story of how CP5, CP7, and CP8 were dispatched to Egghead Island, but they never returned. And that is due to the traitor capturing them. Yeah. And so the conversation between the five elders and this individual totally exposed the full extent of the genius scientist's treachery. And so the elders decided to order Dr. Vegapunk's assassination. It fell to Cypher Paul Aegis Zero to execute the mission. However, the five elders anticipated that Vegapunk would resist, so they sent one of their own, escorted by Admiral Kizaru. They also reinforced the fleet they deployed with backup from several naval branches. Their caution level was raised to total war imminent. So we are at DEFCON 1, people. The Marines are not messing around at all. And then the sudden and unexpected appearance of Emperor Straw Hat Luffy's ship. Which this is kind of the first time that the narrator, or really like outside of the bounty posters, is the first time that the narrator, or really the Marines, are calling Luffy an emperor. So it left the government forces feeling a little more disquieted by this complication. Akainu now knows that Straw Hat is there. And the Gorosei know that he's there. In any case, this chain of events is going to culminate tomorrow, and the outcome will shock the world. All right. So, in the last arc of this chapter, and I think it's cool that these chapters have arcs and stuff. We go back to the Devil Fruit Lab, where Shaka has just been shot, and the traitor is now walking down the steps. And Vegapunk says, "What the devil? This was all you're doing?" Shaka's head falls back, and Vegapunk says, "Answer me." And the traitor walks directly into the holding cell that Vegapunk is being held in, and closes the door. And then we see the face of the last person we would ever suspect would be the traitor. The last person who could have orchestrated this entire plot from the beginning. The least intelligent satellite of the bunch. Ladies and gentlemen, the traitor of Egghead Island is none other than York. Yes, York. The satellite designed to do all of Vegapunk's sleeping, eating, and pooping. York is the traitor. And York is revealed and says, "Oh, Stella, it's 'cause I want to be a celestial dragon." Which this York is the satellite of desire, which does show that at least a little bit inside Dr. Vegapunk wants to be a celestial dragon. So Stella says, "What are you saying, York? You know that Mary Schwa is like that from what it's like from a visit a long time ago. How would you want to be one of them after witnessing just how vile they are?" And York laughs and says, "You sound just like Shaka." "Well, not so much now that he's dead." And she says, "It's hard to keep track of all us Vegapunks, right?" And then she says, "Honestly, the world really doesn't need more than one of us." And we get one of the creepiest smiles in One Piece. And if you can imagine it on a real life level, imagine that a gigantic doll, like with a plastic face and plastic glossy eyes, is looking at you and saying that they're going to steal your identity and replace you. That is about the level of scary that Stella is facing right now. So the last line in the narration says, "The embodiment of unfettered desire leaves the shadow." So yeah, that is it. That is a rundown of the events of One Piece chapter 1078. All right. Now I'm gonna put out a little word for the sponsors, and then I am going to get to my theories. So, hi, if you've never been here before, if you're watching for the first time in the rewind, my name is AfroX. I am a guide to all things anime. And I would just like to say thank you so much for watching, and definitely a big thank you because we have hit 360 subscribers. Super excited. I do want to encourage everyone to tell anyone they know who loves anime about this channel, especially if they're into One Piece. Especially if they're into One Piece. But definitely tell all your friends about this channel, and let's get the channel to 1,000 subs. That would be absolutely great. Now, if you really like the content that I'm doing and you want to donate to the channel, we do have a Patreon that is at www.patreon.com/AfroX. Link in my edited videos description. And there you can donate in increments of $5, $10, $30, $50, or $100 a month. The top levels do seem a little bit daunting, so honestly, I'd suggest you just hop on at the $5 a month level to start. I mean, it's not even that much if we're really being honest. So the $5 a month level, you will get your name shown at the end of every edited video in the end card. At the $10 a month level, you'll get your name shown and announced in the end card. At the $30 a month level, you'll get your name shown and announced in the end card, and you will also be receiving a handwritten thank you note from me. At the $50 a month level, you will get all the previous rewards, plus your name will be shown and announced in fancy lettering with fully edited audio. You'll, of course, get the thank you note from me, and you will also be receiving an official AfroX t-shirt, which I will tell you how you can get it for a lot cheaper in just a moment. At the $100 a month level, you will get all of the previous rewards of the previous levels, plus you will get an invite to join in on every single live stream that I do, and during those live streams, you will be able to plug your channel or your content or anything like that. $100 for publicity anytime, I think that's a pretty good deal. So, all that being said, moving on, to get the official AfroX t-shirt, you go to www.teespring.com/Afro-X-2, and you can get the shirt there. It goes for $30 US, and a third of that goes back to the channel. So you buy a shirt, the channel gets $10 of the profit there. So that's really, really cool, and you can have a piece of AfroX merch. The official t-shirt has the logo on the front and the slogan on the back, which is, of course, "Stay Legendary." Now, moving on, a couple of our social media sites. So we have an official Facebook page that is called AfroX. You can check that out by just typing in AfroX on Facebook. There's also a group called the Official AfroX Fan Club. You can find that on Facebook. If you join that, you will be added to a group chat where you will be able to talk one-on-one with me, and you'll also be able to find out if I'm ever skipping a week or doing anything different from the regular schedule. Then we have a Discord. The Discord is now newly opened to everyone. So it is called the AfroX AMA Discord channel. There's a link in the description of all my edited videos. You can check that out. On there, you can talk to me one-on-one again. And also every Thursday we are doing anime watch parties. And right now we have just gotten to the 9th episode of Fire Force. So we are trying to get through Fire Force. Yeah, if you're excited to see Fire Force, if you really want to see it, then that would be a place that you can do that. That is on Thursdays at 6:30 Central Time. Moving on from that, we of course do have a Twitter that is at the Real AfroX. We have a TikTok that is at AfroX_YT. You can check that out. I do a bunch of random things on there, mostly face stuff, getting to see my face, and I do soda reviews. I will do small rants, and sometimes I'll even do duets with other creators. Specifically, um, I can't remember his name right now, but he's a real good friend on there. I think his name is Jake. Anyways, never mind that. Just go check it out, and you'll find out who I'm collaborating with. Anyways, in new exciting news coming up, we do have my rap crew called the Black List does have a new cipher coming up. It will either be out this coming Tuesday or the Tuesday after, depending on how much time I get to work on it. And it is called the Insanity Cipher, and the whole cipher is devoted to anime characters who are verified insane. So it's going to be a very fun time. There's going to be a lot of laughs, a lot of craziness, and I will be playing Junko Enoshima from Danganronpa, so that should be a very exciting time. Other than that, I believe that is all the news that is fit to print or be talked about. But yes, subscribe. Encourage your friends to subscribe. This is the best anime education channel on YouTube, and I definitely want to bring a feeling of that this is for everybody. Everybody who's interested in anime. I am giving the new a little bit of the old, and giving the old a little bit of the new, teaching people who aren't into anime about some of the stuff that we've all been used to, and kind of giving the new deets on like the manga and stuff to the veterans who've known anime and manga for a long time. So that's really fun. All right, that is all our sponsors. Really quick, I'm going to take some time to talk about My Hero Academia Season 6, the most recent episode. If you haven't seen the most recent episode, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm giving you a 5-second spoiler alert that goes off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, if you're still here, you either have seen the most recent episode of My Hero Academia, or you do not care about spoilers. Super excited about what's going on in My Hero Academia right now. We just got the episode Deku versus Class 1A, where Deku fights against Class 1A, and we really get to see the extent of his powers and how strong he has gotten, which was very, very, very impressive. Especially how he was able to escape from not only metal being wrapped around him, but also being encased inside Dark Shadow's ultimate ability, Ragnarok. He was able to escape out of that, and he was also able to escape out of Todoroki's heaven-piercing ice wall, which was very, very impressive. But I just think it's cool. All the students reminded him of times that he gave them advice, of the times that they needed help, and they're all offering to give him the help that he needs. But still, Izuku just keeps on believing that he needs to do this himself, and Uraraka is about to talk to him, and what he does is he stretches Black Whip between two buildings and uses a Fajin at the same time to rocket blast away in what I believe is his fastest speed as of yet. And then the students really throw together an amazing thing. Yaoyorozu creates train tracks, and Ingenium gets on those train tracks covered by Mina Ashido's Acid Man. Um, Also, Todoroki and Bakugo are hanging onto his back, and they rocket off of an ice wall that Todoroki has created, and they shoot off into the air. At which point they pretty much become a rocket. And it's a three-stage rocket, because Todoroki does flash flash freeze heat wave, and blast them up. And once they get a little bit of height, a little bit of speed, then Bakugo unleashes, I believe it's not AP combo, but it's one of his bigger explosions that rockets them, gives them a little more speed. And for the last amount of speed, we have Ingenium blasting the rockets, or blasting his feet engines. And so the Acid Man is there because they are going so fast that they're getting a heat shield, which means that they are actually hitting about the speed of re-entry from Earth, which is absolutely massive. They're hitting about 17,500 miles per hour off of all of this. And if you consider that Deku is even faster because he reached this speed in an instant, I would say that Deku is probably has a top speed of somewhere between Mach 23 and Mach 25, which is absolutely impressive and mind blowing. So Deku reaching speeds of likely, or at the farthest, or at the maximum, Mach 25. These guys reaching Mach 23. And then Uraraka uses her anti-gravity ability on Ingenium, which lets him go even faster, not being dragged down by gravity. And he manages to go faster than and catch Deku. And at this point, Deku is just completely worn out. He can't go anymore. He can't fight anymore. And so they manage to catch him, bring him back down to the ground. And it's really cool because Ingenium, who I can't even remember his student name anymore. I think it's Iota or something like that. Anyways, he reminds Deku of the conversation they had when they were fighting Stain, where Deku said, meddling and stuff that isn't your business is the mark of being a hero. And so he repeats Deku's own words to him, and finally Deku is like, okay, let's talk this out. So then they get to the ground, and Bakugo has a conversation with Deku, and Deku kind of falls over and Bakugo catches him, which I think is really, really beautiful. They have kind of a Naruto and Sasuke moment where there's like a white screen behind them, and Bakugo finally looks back on everything, and he apologizes for bullying Midoriya. And we have this really, really cool moment, and then Midoriya falls over, Bakugo catches him, which is really cool to see a full turnaround of someone who was a bully to the main character in the beginning, now becoming a very, very trusted friend and pretty much a brother to the main character, which I think is awesome. I can't remember the name of the author of My Hero Academia, but I think it's so cool how he went against the tropes of anime and manga, and like the first person to find out the main character's big secret was pretty much the main enemy of the main character at the beginning of the series, which I thought was pretty sweet. So pretty much at the end of the chapter, like, as we know, the principal has said that Deku can come back to the school. Um, and they said we have all the defenses to protect him. And so they get to the school, and all of the refugees who are at the school are like, absolutely not. Get him out of here. We don't want him here because he's being targeted by a guy who pretty much just like destroyed Japan. Um, and yeah, they're just like absolutely not. And they actually call him a bomb. They said we don't want a bomb here, and that must have hit Deku very, very hard. And so he starts to walk away because he knows this isn't gonna work. And then Uraraka looks at him and like literally Uraraka being wife material right now. She's just like, don't worry about it. Like, they don't matter. Like, all that matters is that you're here right now with us, and we're not gonna turn our backs on you for anything. So the last thing we see in the episode is Uraraka kind of turning an action pose and saying, when the heroes are suffering, who will protect the heroes? And I just think it's such a cool sentiment. I'm excited for the next episode. And definitely you'll get a report on that. I'm pretty sure the end of season 6 is coming here soon. So there's going to be a point where we're not going to be getting new episodes. But yeah, I just really liked how all the main players of My Hero Academia got a moment here. Like even Mineta had a moment, and just Deku lightly putting him down with Black Whip was very cool. But yeah, so Mineta, Ingenium, Bakugo, and finally Uraraka kind of broke through the fog in Izuku's head. And I think things are going to start turning up here now. I do know that there's a battle still coming. They still have to defeat Shigaraki and All For One. But I think doing it together is going to be a much better sort of outcome. And honestly, given all of their strength together, like a weak Deku could not, like Deku in the state he was in, could not have beaten Shigaraki and All For One. Even if he had found him, he could not have done it. But I think him at full power with all of Class 1A and the heroes behind him, I just think that All For One, like, I think he doesn't have the power that he thinks he does. And I'm very excited looking to kind of the end of this series and how it's shaping up to turn out. So look at this. The value of being an Afro X subscriber. You just got a twofer. You got a review of One Piece chapter 1078, and you also got a review of the latest episode of My Hero Academia. So there you go. Anyways, I don't really have a lot of theories about the future of One Piece. We're just gonna have to see what happens next. I'm pretty sure in the next episode, Kizaru, all the battleships, everybody are gonna arrive on Egghead, and we're either gonna have a giant battle or something absolutely nuts is gonna happen. I don't even know. Oda's genius. That's all. Stay tuned for the next piece of One Piece.